Welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. My name is Adam Rosman. I will be your host today, and the date is 27th of November, 2024. And I think we can skip the introductions, continue with reminders. Please note that the meeting is recorded, and if you would like to have the project with contributions, then please check either this link in the document or filter for help wanted or good first issue labels on the project level. And that way you can find all the issues that are open for contributions, and that would be a great help for the project. If you think that your organization would like to acknowledge the adoption of Metal3 officially, then please create a pull request for the community repository and modify the adopters.md file in the root, and follow the example of the previous adopters, and that would also help the project a lot. If you think your PR has a CI issue that is not related to the code changes you've done in the PR, rather it's related to the CI in them, feel free to create an issue in the affected or related repository and link that issue to the Metal3 CI tracker project. You will find it on the right sidebar, and then you can just look up the projects, and there will be the CI tracker, and that way we can more easily track the CI issues. Related to incubation, I think this is a milestone that we have reached just I think at some point this week, or let me check the date. Yeah, 3 days ago basically. So now the incubation process or the due diligence for the incubation will start soon, and we are the next in the queue, and we have moved from one stage to the next in this process. So the process has basically started as far as I understand, and I would like to thank every contributor who helped us reach this milestone in any way, either by writing documentation, fixing bugs, creating features, participating in community events, anyway. So thank you all, and yeah, let's see how we will get through this, or what will be the results of this process. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Other than that, yeah, if you are interested about any of the statistics, as you know, feel free to check out the links below, the Clow Monitor, Dev Stats, and all the other pages. So before I would continue on with the community working groups, I would like to thank you, Dimitri, for facilitating the community meeting last week. So thank you. And
happy to help.
Yeah, thanks. Other than that, I don't really have any additional remarks. So I think we can continue with the Iron Scalability Working Group, and that's also you.
Yeah, thank you. We are making very rapid progress towards an MVP for an standalone operator. I really appreciate all the active reviews on the patches, both inside the project and on Metal3 Defense. To sum it up, we got support for Keep Alive D, which was the last large blocker before we could use the Metal3 Defense. So now you can use run standalone operator in Metal3 Defense. The operator itself is installed by default, so whenever you get a new environment, you will get it as well. To use it to install Ironic, you need to set a flag in your config file. This works. It provisions perimeter host and so on. I've seen failure in CAPM3 end-to-end tests in the area of repivoting, because I think these tests heavily assume that Ironic is deployed either locally or through BMO and not this way. This is something we need to solve before, ideally before MVP. I created quite a few issues in the Ironic standalone project. Many of them marked help wanted. Some of them are targeting this milestone. So this is now time you can jump in because you can now install it on your Metal3 defined environment. You can try it locally. It's reasonably stable and functional. So if you're interested in contributing, as of today, it's a good idea. Yeah, and this roughly the scope as I see it. Again, feedback welcome. I just composed this list today. But I think these are the items that we need to make happen before January, so that we can do the first release and actually recommend people to use it. Once we do that, we are going to head towards highly available architecture finally. This was a long preparation of work, but I think it's going to be worth it. That's it for me. If you're speaking, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, I was mute. Yeah, thanks. That sounds good. And I would really encourage everyone to join. I don't know how much time I will have for this, but let's see. And thanks for using this milestone system. I think that makes it very clear, or much clearer to see what belongs to this project, this MVP project. Is there any questions or comments or remarks for Dimitri related this IRSO MVP? Yeah, if not, then okay. Next one is the release team, and that's from Ricardo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we just released the new Ironic image 27.0. There's a bunch of stuff there, and also I linked the Ironic release notes since this is based on Ironic version 27.0, and you can find also the full Ironic changelog there. We actually decided to cut the bug fix branches a little bit in advance because of some incompatibilities with Ironic lib. And so, yeah, Ironic image has been released like roughly 1 week in advance as well. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone who has questions related to the new Ironic image? Please. Okay, if not, then we can continue.
Maybe one short question. So what is the testing plan with this one? Which branches would be tested with this?
So currently is 1.8, the 1.8 series, but I guess it's going to be 1.9 once everything else releases, which should be soon.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Yep. Thanks. Okay. Related to roadmap editors, I don't have anything. I'm kind of still on PTO and also sick, so haven't really looked into it. I plan to look into some improvements, but I think today we will anyway check the milestones, so that will be enough for an update. So I think we can continue with the discussion topics. And this is from who is
Oh,
this?
this is from me.
Okay.
And oh, I forgot to add my name here. I will add it.
Yeah, don't worry. I can add it. Just talk about it.
So this this was this looked like a minor improvement that I wanted to do, but it seems like there are some issues there. So we have this variable in CAPM3, no cloud provider. And the problem is we default this variable to false, which is like we are assuming that so CAPM3 will assume that there is always a cloud provider there, which is wrong. I think we should assume that there is no cloud provider by default. If user set it to false, then it should be like that. So default of this variable should be true. So this is a issue that since it's implemented, this issue has been there. So I think the people who are using CAPM3, they are explicitly setting it true or false. They are not relying on the default value of this one. So to fix this issue, one thing is we should just get rid of the double negation, and for that we should change the variable to cloud provider enabled. So I open this PR, but the thing is, like, if I add this new variable and default of this one will be false and the previous variable will also be false, and they will contradict with each other if user don't set them anywhere. And this is an issue. So what we can do is we can set this cloud provider enabled by default to true for now. We can deprecate the no cloud provider variable in this release, and in the next release we can remove this no cloud provider and deprecate the default value that we are setting on the new variable, which is cloud provider enabled. And then in the next one we can just also remove the default value of the cloud provider enabled. I think with this transition we can like inform the people who are using it in a better way, and it's not going to be a sudden change, and it will be a breaking change, but it will we will try to inform the community step by step. In each release we are doing a small change, not doing everything at once. I just wanted to ask if there is a best way, or if there is some other suggestion how we can solve this issue solve this issue here, or yeah. And I think on the release on this community meeting docs, I have written this already there. So
from my point of view, I think it sounds good. I mean, you already thought about how to deprecate it.
yeah.
Is there anyone else with comments or? But I see that others like mainly Leonard already started to look into this.
Yeah, I will make the changes on this PR because I have deprecated this one, but I'm not setting the default values for the new variable. I will make these changes on this PR, and further discussion we can also have on the PR if this is the best way to do it or not.
Yeah.
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 I just wanted to share it with the community.
Yep, sounds good, Adil. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for working on this. So, anyone, any comment, question related to this, or should we go forward? Okay, then feel free to discuss this on the PR itself. I think Adil also provided here quite a detailed description. Yeah, maybe one thing, Adil, I might be just missed it, but you have provided here a pretty nice description. Could you maybe put this also into the commit message and the PR description?
Yes, I can edit there. Maybe I can create a small issue because this will
Even better, yeah. That's
yeah, this will go into the next 2-3 releases. So yeah, I can do that.
Yep, thanks. That sounds good. Okay, anyone else with any discussion topics you would like to bring up before we start the backlog/milestone maintenance?
I have a similar issue. I'm sorry that I didn't remember to put it, and now I'm on mobile. But I will anyhow bring it up. So I'm also working on a PR in CapM3 that is removing the Metal Cube machines owner references from BMH, and that I have tested it. It is working. The only problem is that it would be breaking for the users because since now there is no owner reference chain, so the pivoting workflow would require the users to put the specific cluster CTL labels on them, and hence it's breaking. So I'm not sure, like, since this is not an API change, I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I was internally discussing with Tuomo at some point, but still a bit unsure that how would we actually, how should we actually deprecate, or I don't know in what, how many steps should we do it. So it's the second last one. Yeah. So this just removes wherever we are putting the owner references on the BMH. So I'm not sure if just doing it in this in the next release is fine, or is there any other better way to actually do it so that it doesn't create a mess for the users.
How does this affect user in the pivoting only, right?
Yes, it's only on the pivoting use scenario, because if you go down and at the very end, I think in the tests file, I'm adding those labels. So if those labels are actually not added, then the pivoting would fail.
That seems to be quite serious change to me, even if it's just labels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's any functionality that if someone puts there a label, some warning event or something happens. Because if not that, then I would just first put there the new stuff and document that the old one is deprecated, and then still keep it, because I don't really know what other or better way there is to deprecate a label. And I am certain that some folks might build logic around these labels.
So come again, I didn't understand. What do you mean by deprecate the labels? There was actually no label previously. It's now that we need to add those labels.
No, okay, wait, then I probably misunderstood this one.
Previously, it was just that we were putting owner references on the BMH object, and I think at some point of the API or whatever discussion was it that we decided that probably it's not correct that Metal Cube machine is owning the BMHs. It just consumes, and hence we are removing this owner reference. So the whole idea that this owner reference was added on BMH in the first place was to support this BMH scenario, because back then Cluster City didn't have this opportunity to also add labels and then identify objects that should be taken to the target cluster based on those labels. So it's fine that we probably don't need to have any solution right away, but I just wanted to, if you can, Adam, put this into today's meeting notes, and then we can also continue discussing over the PR.
Yeah, but just for me, because I'm now a bit out of the loop, just for me to summarize, if I understand it correctly. So previously, yeah, I remember there were these owner references, and we want to get rid of them. That I remember. So we get rid of them, but instead of them, we will use these move labels. So
Exactly.
that's
Yes.
okay. That's
Yes.
the change. Okay. So, that's interesting. I actually, this is quite a clear break from the old logic to the new one. And we cannot leave the old references there, like that's the whole point of the change. So
Yeah.
although is that possible to introduce the move labels and leave the references? Would that be like technically possible for one release and then remove them in the next one?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see that the labels are only added in the test, so it is
Yeah.
not any functionality change as per se. It's just that the users need to know that they should have these labels if they want to pivot
Yeah.
BMH. And that is at least added in the CAPI side. Maybe we don't have any documentation around it in the CAPM3 side. So I don't know, one idea could be just to add this sort of also note in the 1.9 release that, hey, start using these labels, but because in 1.10, let's say, we would be not having any other reference on BMH. So
Yeah, I kind of like that approach.
okay, then we can do that as well.
But
Also, like when user pivots, like can we identify that? And if user is not adding those labels, and we can give them that warning that in next release you will have to add these labels, otherwise pivoting will not happen on the BMH.
I mean, that is maybe possible. The issue is that that is a cluster CTL API, then where we need to inject some sort of a hook, because the whole this identifying of the objects is done inside the cluster CTL. It identifies which objects to take, and then it actually spits out the list. So I don't know if there is any life cycle hook there where we can just pause and give some more logs on that. I have to check.
But I think the two approaches is not so they are complementary. So anyways, it's good to put there the note and just into the code or the documentation, and then if it's possible to generate like an event. But I'm kind of suspecting that generating an event is not that simple for these
Yeah.
tables. So let's see. Yeah. But as I said, yeah, if you could do it in like two parts, that we would not just put there a note and then later it would go away, or would be mandatory to use these labels.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to make sure that I poke the release guys to put some note on 1.9.
I will put it there. This one. Oh, just a second. So, okay, mandatory. Okay. Okay. If there are no, and feel free to add your comments, Adele, if you want to add your comment here, or others, feel free to do that. But if there are no other questions related to this, these discussion topics, then we can continue with the milestone maintenance.
Just a question that 2 weeks ago I joined a meeting. I was a question regarding how does Metal3 do authentication with BMC. My understanding is at this point it's just using flat files with the username and password. Is there any plan for adding additional, more secure authentication mechanism?
What sort of authentication mechanism you think about?
Oh, it seems like RDAP, a token. Yeah, just not default flat file username and password.
I think the difficult part would be to have BMC support that. After like years of only using APMI, I have little trust. Like, have you actually seen BMCs that support RDAP or anything like that?
So my understanding, what you're saying is it's not the metals, it's the BMC doesn't support those mechanisms, right? That's something that needs to happen on the hardware side to make it possible. Is that right?
Yeah, if it's not possible now, and I haven't researched actual DApp support in bare metal, in actual bare metal hardware, although I have pretty little trust that it exists. But yes, we absolutely cannot just decide it on our own. If we figure out that yes, some pretty important hardware, I don't know, some recent HP machines, for example, support some more secure authentication, I can definitely consider that. But the ball is on their side.
Okay, thanks.
There are an approach that some companies might use, or some organizations. The BMCs and the protocol for the BMCs, these redfish and stuff, these can be proxied in a sense that you can write your own web server that acts like a BMC, but then it's not the actual BMC, just the front end service for the BMC, but that requires you to have a kind of machine management or infrastructure management layer between MetaCube and the physical machines, and then that layer, that software layer running wherever, that can do these sort of things, so that you wouldn't put into your MetaCube secret or to the BMO BMC authentication secret. You wouldn't put an actual password, but you would put just some token, and then that next middle layer would do the authentication and stuff. But that's always custom to whoever maintains the infrastructure. But
does it make sense for Metal3 to at least provide a kind of extension to make that integration simpler, standard?
I mean, in principle, sure, it would be nice to have, but what I can just naively think about, then we would need to create this sort of maybe it's already doable with other cloud native services. I don't know. I don't really have much experience in the, how to handle LDAP in this sort of distributed systems, so others might know it better. But if I would say, if somebody would like to work on that and demo it for us and start a discussion, I think we are always open to these things. But right now, I don't feel that it is in our focus, at least. But anyone, please feel free to chime in.
I'm not sure if this approach would do a lot, because you're basically just kicking the can down the road, and you're moving your plain text password to a different service, which, okay, could be probably better protected. But globally, it's not a solution to the problem. It's just where we put this plain text secret.
Yeah, but one thing is for sure, that at the moment, at least the core maintainers don't work on anything like that. So, you know, if you can find people to work on it, or propose some third party, or write a blog post about like some service that you used with MetaQ that was able to do it, that would be great to know about. But yeah.
By the way, there is an interesting angle to this problem, because if you use Ironic itself, Ironic does not return passwords back in the API. So you can set them, but you return 6 stars when you get the node resource. So Ironic actually does hide the password.
Mm.
We don't do it here in BMO, and I wonder if we could have this mode of operation. The simplest thing, we could just drop the secret one once we enroll the node, but that will prevent us from re-enrolling it on Ironic pod restart. So it only works if you have a separate Ironic which doesn't get restarted or has a persistent database. So it's an interesting area to research, but yeah, I agree with you. We don't have a ready-to-use solution, nor do we really have anyone working on that.
That would be probably a new working group, which is, yeah, I'm all for that, but someone would need to like take that up, and or multiple people, and work on that. I know that I want in the foreseeable future. Okay. Have we answered your question, Victor?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good. Anyone else? Any other question? Okay, then we can continue with the milestones. First IPEM, and we have the 1.9 and the 1.10. Let's just go through the milestones. For the next milestone, backlog check or maintenance, I will try to come up with a method where we can look at just issues in the repo and see if they need a milestone. But sometimes if there are 30, 40 issues or 15, if we go through all of them, it takes a lot of time. So for now, I think it's enough if we just go through the ones that are already have a designated milestone. So this is IP is not released after deleting an IP claim, and this is aimed to 1.9 IPEM. And
yeah, this is on me. I will add here for this one. We need to add a documentation for it.
okay. Yeah, this was this was that only gets a doc no fix. Okay, so that's
Yes.
doable for 1.9. Okay, that sounds reasonable. I'm just checking if something has to be moved out or in or into another milestone. Then there is one for the 1.10, so even further. And this this one I remember. This is Peppy's work for the IPAM CAPI provider or the CAPI style IPAM provider, and we agreed this 1.10 it's basically done, but we want to test it more. Okay, so that was IPAM. There is CAPM3. And 1.9 has 3 open. There is an issue template. I think that's deliverable. This is also from you, Adil.
Yes, I have received some comments. I will address them.
But I think that's also fine for 1.9. Yeah, we agreed that next release
Yes.
this, so it's fine. Removing the MetaQ machine owner reference from image. That's the one that we discussed just now with Kashif. I think we can come to understanding if we haven't already reached that. But I think this can end in the form that we agree. Yeah, that's fine. For 1.9, and then automate release tag and branch creation and release notes in PR. This is also you are, but this is also releasing. So
Yeah, so for IPM, we will do it in the 1.9, but for others, we will do it in the next release. We want to first test it, how it goes with the IPM, this flow of releasing.
okay.
Then we will do it in the BMO and Kappa 3.
Okay, good to know. So I can move it to 1.1
to 110, yes.
Okay. Good. Great. And then check 110. And yeah, this is the one that I moved. Good. Okay, we can check the BMO. V09. V09 have the fixed set image tag for release branches and tags. Check again. Okay, so this is for release verification. Yeah, I mean, it could end for the next release, but is there active work going on this? I don't think so. Let's ping the original contributor or the contributor. Let's see if we don't receive any answer until the next maintenance, then I will just move it further down the line. Okay. So was introducing, yeah, this is from me. What was the time frame for the 0.9? This should be the stuff that I should work. 90 days to go. I have to push it further. I have to push this further. I don't think it will end at any end of December. Who knows, maybe, but let's push it further. Okay. Others are fine. That was BMO. Ironic image that just got a release right now. So 27 was released. What it has or will be released. Yeah, it was released. Sorry, I'll just check. Yes. So this one still had one open stuff. So this certainly has to move forward if it wasn't fixed. Ricardo, if you are still here, do I understand correctly that this wasn't completed?
No, actually, this was.
Was?
Yeah. In the release notes, now you have so it links. There's a mention about the ironic version the release is based on, also a link to the ironic release notes for that version and the full changelog, the ironic changelog.
It's good, but probably that PR wasn't linked to this. I'm thinking.
I mean, there was no PR. It was in the release notes.
Just the
So
release.
Yes, exactly.
so what this needs is just adding documentation of that in the release notes or the releasing document.
So I'm actually planning to do an update on the entire release process because there are things that were not mentioned there. So if you want to keep these open until that's done, it's fine.
Okay, I will just write it here that.
I mean, we can do it either way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we're still releasing patch releases and stuff like that, where this would be also applicable. So the release automation is one full minor cycle away anyway, so it's months.
I understand it. Okay, good. Next milestone. That is the 28. And yeah, one thing, can I assign you, Ricardo, to this? Just
Yeah, absolutely.
thanks. Okay, good. And I think, okay, so 27 is clear now. And then 28 has the one I moved there, and let's put there the new milestone because we have to be always +1 ahead. This will be 29. And if we will release something else, like, I don't know, 28 or 28.1 or whatever, I will just put there another. But the next one, Ricardo, is 28, right? The one that you or
Not sure. So next ironic bug fix will be in end of February, or actually beginning of February. Well, anyway, in February. And I'm not sure about the version yet. Depends on like whatever progress we do in ironic upstream. But yeah, I guess if it's not 28, well, it's going to be 27 dot something. So
yeah, okay. I would propose that we could just then rename these. Don't need to create other one. But as soon as you know that, just ping me and I will reshuffle these.
all right, will do.
Thanks. Okay. So that was, if I checked it correctly, that was the ironic image. Yes. And then we have the IRSO, and that has the MVP. So, and that Dimitri has updated and already showed us, so that's progressing well. Okay, have I checked everything? Yeah, okay, yeah, and I have to ask that. Is there any issue or PR you think I should add to any of the milestones? Something that you would like to land at a specific before a specific release or something? This is the time and we can talk about that. Okay, if there are no proposals to shift something or add something, I think the other checklist points have been fulfilled. So is there any suggestions, comments, questions related to the whole meeting or to the project in general? Or anything else?
did we already mention that we have been assigned in CNCF DOC for kickoff?
Yeah, I showed it.
All right, great. I missed
Incubation.
a couple first minutes.
Okay, then thanks for your time and patience and attention. Let's meet next week. Next week it will be triaging, not backlog maintenance. And until then, have a great week and see you there. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.